let's get it. So this Ja Morant situation in Memphis, the Memphis Grizzlies superstar, right? The supposedly face of the NBA, the next LeBron, Kobe, Iverson, is now
It's practice.
Yeah, it's practice. We're talking about practice. This guy is now taking a leave of absence. So for those of you who don't know Ja Morant, he is a young NBA superstar. He was born from South Carolina, which I guess I didn't know South Carolina was thug country, gangster country.
But I thought they just had good Pete's Cobbler.
Yeah, and barbecue.
Yeah.
Vinegar barbecue.
Yeah.
Vinegar-based barbecue.
Ford F-150s and horrible music.
Oh, and the what you call the college, the Gamecocks? I think that's their name.
Yeah, some bullshit.
Yeah, it's the Gamecocks.
Yeah.
That's South Carolina.
Not an interesting place.
Yeah, exactly. This guy is from there. He went to Murray State, Kentucky, country basketball college. Once again, I know that was thug country or gangster land. But now he's actually pretty good. He's been in the league a couple years now. I think about 3 or 4 years. He definitely has superstar talent. He's a point guard / shooting guard, and he's a high scorer. He's definitely on the court a baller from what I've seen.
Yep.
And he just got a big $200 million contract from the Grizzlies. He just signed a huge contract with Nike after Nike canceled Kyrie Irving. And, he's a superstar. But he's now taking a leave of indefinite absence from the Grizzlies.
Yep.
Due to 3 incidents over the last year that were all gun-related. Really, in my mind, all thug and street related, right? And
Gilbert Arenas.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing about it is, in the black community, we don't like when we hear the thug and gangster title, put on us when things happen.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what this young idiot, that's exactly what he wants, right? He wants to be a thug. So the first incident involved, at least that we know of, because I'm sure if it's 3 incidents that's reported, I'm sure there's more to this story. But the first one is he got into it with, I believe, this could be wrong. It was either Dallas or Denver security. It was some NBA's basketball security. Him and his boys got into it with it. So after the game, they were leaving the arena, and he's in a van full of, I guess, his whatever group he associates with, because he throw up gang signs and he does this all throughout the game. But whatever group he was with, his homeboys, they got into it with the security guards on the outside, and they all pulled out guns while the security guards were driving off. They pulled out guns from his van, and they had red dots on it. So the security guards came back to the NBA and reported it. The NBA did an investigation because they reported that multiple people from his vehicle had guns, pointed guns in their directions as they were all driving away, and it was red dots pointed on their vehicle as they were leaving. That was the first incident, right? So the NBA investigated that. I think they still investigating that. Excuse me. The second incident is he was supposedly, I believe, during the summer, this past summer, playing basketball in Memphis with a 17-year-old boy, him and his boys again. And we're playing basketball with a 17-year-old boy. Him and the 17-year-old boy at some point got into it. They got into an altercation. Right?
Oh, my God. Dog.
Yeah, so the 17-year-old boy parents filed a police report saying that the boy was assaulted, that Ja Morant punched him after they got into it playing basketball, punched him, hit him in the head a couple times. I think the boy threw the ball at Ja Morant's head. But after that altercation, Ja Morant went in his house and got a gun. right? And came back out
Yeah, he's a bitch.
with a gun.
He's a bitch ass motherfucker.
Yeah.
This is a redundant problem solving, and right?
Yeah.
Because that street mentality, like, it needs to be ejected out of you.
It has to be.
You are a $200 million athlete. You have changed the life of your family and the generations coming forever.
Yep.
You are not a motherfucking gangster, dog. You are not a gangster.
Exactly.
Stop acting like a gangster. You know, that drill rapper life you want to live?
Yep.
Those motherfuckers literally die in bathtubs with, drinking lean and shit. You don't want to follow that life.
Exactly. So after that incident, the police report was filed. I guess the police talked to him because he admitted to swinging or hitting the boy first. I can't remember if he ever admitted to having a gun, but the boy reported that he came back out with a gun and he was using the gun as a sign or a way to say, yo, like, what's up?
Intimidate. Yeah. Like, I'm a gangster, you can't fuck with me, I got a gun.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So the third incident was just him just being a complete idiot in front of the whole world. This was a couple weeks ago. Maybe it was even last week. They were playing a game in Denver, and they lost in Denver. And this guy decides to go, once again, with his boys, with his crew, to a strip club. In the strip club, he decided to go on Instagram Live. It was Instagram? Yeah, Instagram Live. And they all partying with no shirts on with strippers. Right, which I guess is cool. I mean, ain't no issue, but we'll party with strippers. But this guy, what did he do? He pulled out a gun in the video, brandishing a gun again, right? So this has many other levels to it, because now the NBA is investigating, okay, is this guy, one, traveling to games with a gun? Is he bringing the games? Is he bringing the guns to the games inside of the stadium? Is he using our transportation, our buses and airplanes to transmit this gun? Because all of that is not allowed in the NBA, right? So you got 3 different gun incidents, right? And you can argue maybe the first one wasn't him. It was his homeboys. Maybe it didn't happen. Security guards are lying. You can argue maybe the 17-year-old boy is lying.
Yeah.
But what you can't argue is the last incident with him.
Because that's evidence-based.
Yeah. It's going on his own Instagram Live and filming this. Now, I use the term thug and gangster because it's important, because, like I said before, we don't like that term, especially when it comes from other races. We don't like to be called thugs and gangsters. And a lot of time, it does have racial implications, right? It is used in a derogatory, racially charged way.
Yeah, like generalizations.
However, in this instance, in this circumstance and incident, especially for me being from Detroit and kind of growing up and knowing that type of lifestyle, this guy wanted to be that. This is what he wants, right? You want to be a thug. You want to be a gangster. You want to be known as being hard from the streets, like you about that life.
Yeah.
Well, now you're going to get slapped with that title. Yep. You also you're going to get slapped with the title of being an idiot, right? Because you're about to throw away your entire life.
Exactly.
Your entire generations' lives over stupidity. When, one, we know you ain't about that life, my guy. You from South Carolina, dog. You went to a college in Kentucky. Your parents come to your games. You had your daddy in your life, right? Yeah. You had your mom in your life.
It's the rejects that are beside him that are tricking him into believing that he needs to do these things in order to be accepted. He still wants to be accepted in some sort of... I'm like, motherfucker, you are already accepted. You're in NBA.
Yep.
You made it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You're one of the 200-300 people that are playing professional basketball at the highest level.
Exactly.
You it's okay. You're done.
Exactly. And we see this, man, repeated, literally rinse and repeat with athletes and rappers. They just get caught up in the streets, right? You want to show that you are bad. It's okay to live in the suburbs. Yeah. It's okay to go buy you a poodle, get up in the morning, walk that poodle, right? Go do your 9 to 5, come home to a family, and live a peaceful life.
Exactly.
That's okay. Like, you're proving nothing by being a thug and a gangster. First off, anybody can shoot a gun. You know what I mean? Anybody can shoot it. So
that shows the bitch in you, because if anything pops off, you cannot,
exactly.
You can't throw hands.
Exactly.
You need a gun, and because if you go, he's lucky he did it to the wrong people.
Yeah.
Because if the other person had a gun, and they're like, okay, you want to go? Some people just don't got nothing to lose. They're gonna, okay, I'm gonna start blasting, and only one bullet gotta hit you, bro. It's over.
That's it.
It's done.
And this is a conversation I was having with some of our coworkers.
Then you're gonna have Benjamin Crumpins, holding your mom's shoulders, and like, yep, he was a good boy. He had all A's, and you know what I'm saying? He was gonna go to Harvard and be the next Jeff Bezos.
This is a conversation I was having.
Get your wig blown off.
with one of our boys at work was, him doing this in Memphis. Yo, Memphis is about that life.
Exactly. They will have goons run up on your shit, dog.
Quickly.
Exactly.
Right? When you look at the murders and violence in Memphis, they don't play no games down there.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck if you a ball player.
No. Them street guys do not care. And with you brandishing a gun, thinking you hard, or your boys doing it, almost like to what you said, it don't even have to be him. But if you in a group that does that and shots start firing, just think of Takeoff, right? I mean, that's the perfect example recently.
Perfect, yeah.
He wasn't even involved in that, but it was the environment he was in.
Exactly.
When you are even at the minimum around people doing this and living that thug life, bro, you putting your life in jeopardy, and that road just leads to, I ain't gonna even say jail. It leads to death. Because a lot of times for us, for black people in the streets, we don't even get the opportunity to go to jail. A lot of times we just get killed, right?
Exactly.
And that's just
and
what
it's by your own.
It is. It's by, and this will be one of those situations to where it will be by our own. Because when you brandishing a gun, the way that you doing it, especially in a club, even if it's a strip club, it's the club.
Yeah.
Doing that, bro, you gonna get shot, man. You gonna get yourself hurt
easily.
So yeah, I just wanted to I wanted to talk about that because we see it too many times with our athletes. They don't know how to separate themselves, right? When they hit stardom, they don't know how to separate themselves from, I guess, what they consider the streets. Because I don't think this guy was really from the streets. I don't think
it's the life they want to live, bro. They want to live that drill rapper life. The shit that they're listening to.
Yeah,
that's the life they want to personify.
Yeah.
It's just that when you become a professional athlete, you need to take, like public relation classes.
100.
You can say whatever you want about LeBron, but that motherfucker has exemplary defined what you got to do in PR.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think you can name another athlete that has been more successful than him in public relations and creating an image and a persona. Because But Kobe had that rape allegation.
He did. Right? He bounced back from that. That's my guy, though.
Yeah, he did. But I'm just saying, it wasn't a clean whiteboard. You know what I mean? Like, LeBron, never hear a gunshot, drugs, beating a chick, having strippers, being late on child support payments, and nothing. Like, clean, bro. Yeah. Like, even Shaq, I would say. Shaq is clean, too.
Yeah. I mean,
he's just a big goofball. I mean, he had issues with Kobe, but that's, like, more of a teammate type shit.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Michael Vick, he had dog fighting, Terrell Owens being a fucking diva.
I mean, Jordan. I think Jordan's the epitome of that.
Yeah, Michael Jordan, exactly. And so all of these great athletes, I mean, you can be great as you want, but if you're not great outside the field and you can't keep yourself away from these type of bullshit, you're going to have a very quick career and it's pretty much done. Because the only thing you know how to do is play ball.
Yeah, exactly.
If this guy fucks up and goes to prison, let's say for a year or 6 months, it's done. He's never going back to the NBA. You might not even get a chance to play in the fucking Canadian League.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And that's finished. It's over.
It's over.
Like, you can, I don't know what you're going to do after that.
Yeah. And they're going to have a short life. And you see it, man, month in and month out, week in and week out. Bro, people are dying for less out here. Look at Young Dolph in Memphis. Yeah. This man was at the Cupcake place, the Cupcake restaurant.
Yeah. I heard about that.
And he got splattered, right, in the middle of the day, right? People are dying for less over here. So it's just one of those things to where I think, like you said.
You need better people around you, dog.
And not only that, but like you mentioned earlier, it's coming from a place of some type of insecurity to where he's trying to build this image now in the public of being this tough, strong, hard guy, but you really just look like an immature little child running around with a gun.
He looks like a drill rapper.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Who's 6'6", whatever.
Yeah.
And you know how to play ball.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. And I doubt he changes.
Nah.
This type of behavior is not going to change because it's a mentality type thing, right?
Yep.
I'm the top of the world. I got all the money I want. Nobody can fucking touch me.
Yep.
Like, no, motherfucker.
Yep.
You're not a Vanderbilt. You're not a Rockefeller.
Exactly.
Chill the fuck out. You just play basketball.
Yep. Exactly.
And if you make the wrong moves, that's what Gilbert Arenas thought. And look what him. He's doing fucking interviews for DJ Vlad to make money. You know what I'm saying? That's all you can.
Yeah, and ain't nothing glorious about that thug gangster life, bro.
Yeah. And y'all ain't real fucking gangsters.
Nah, they ain't.
People who are gangsters are sitting in Congress
with suits.
Exactly.
Yep.
They will get your shit picked up, and you be in a CIA black site getting, pummeled by a fucking an albino dog or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Chill the fuck out, dog.
That's what I was gonna say. Hey, real gangsters just make phone calls and things happen. Yeah. You know what I mean? Almost like that, like the cartel down there in Mexico, like they did. Like they did last week.
Yo, that's two South Carolina motherfuckers doing stupid shit.
Hey, it is. Hey, it is. Two in like less than a week, bro.
Yo, yeah, we're about to have 4 people doing tummy tucks, driving all the way from South Carolina to Mexico to get a tummy tuck. What if they want to do a tummy tuck and put drugs in their stomach and come back and get it like unstitched?
Hey, you know they do that.
Yeah,
you know they do that for real.
Yeah, they do. I know they do that. Dog, they didn't know when the hell that bitch was going to fucking Mexico to get a tummy tuck, dog. They look like drug dealers.
Ain't no way.
Allegedly.
Yeah, exactly. Allegedly. There's no way 4 people got in a car and decided to drive to Mexico from South Carolina to get a tummy tuck and then drive back, right? There is no way. First off, what is all 4 people doing if only one person is getting this so-called tummy tuck, right? Number 2, how in the world are you driving to Mexico when you should be flying, right? I mean, that just makes more sense, right? To fly versus driving from South Carolina. You don't live in Texas. If you lived in Texas, then maybe I could say, all right, I can see why they driving from Texas. But you live in South Carolina and you're driving instead of flying to Mexico, right? All to get a so-called tummy tuck. And then
they went to a bullshit no-name town, bro.
Yeah. And then got picked up by the cartel.
Yeah.
Two got killed.
Mm-hmm.
One got the third got shot. And the other one, nothing happened. So 2 got away. 2 came away with their lives. 2 lost their lives. And then the cartel has been trying to do public relations cleanup ever since, right?
Mm-hmm. So I was reading this article by CNN, right? It says 5 more arrested in deadly kidnapping of Americans in Mexico as questions continue to swirl around the case. So they picked up the GPS data from these people. They were using GPS. Yeah. So their appointment at the plastic surgery clinic or whatever was scheduled at 7:30 a.m.
Yep.
And then they supposedly called the clinic to say around 9 o'clock in the morning to say, hey, we're going to be late.
Yeah.
So you're already like, an hour and a half late.
Yep.
Way to be on time.
So an hour and a half late.
And then the GPS says that the GPS navigation, how the 4 ended up in an unspecific area, given its remote location, despite using GPS navigation.
So they was using GPS. They was an hour and a half late, and then they were in a remote location. Okay.
It's unclear. An analysis of the GPS routes seen in the video indicate that they were eventually traveling towards a doctor's office where Washington McGee, which is the woman, had a scheduled appointment. The next time the car is seen, according to the Tamaulipas Attorney General, is on a surveillance video over a mile to the south of the doctor's office at 11:12 a.m. At some point between 11:12 a.m. and 11:38 a.m., a gray Volkswagen Jetta started following the van, which were the 4 Americans were in, and around 11:41 a.m. they got blasted, taken. Yep. As the group drove south on 6th Street on Matamoros, the driver then, contrary to the GPS navigation instructions, made a right on Galena Street away from the doctor's office. So they were never going to go to the doctor's office.
No.
They were looking for the run-up guy,
yep.
most likely,
yep.
who probably was, like a middleman in the deal.
Yeah.
They weren't able to find him because you're in a completely unknown territory.
Yeah.
And that's exactly why the cartel was like, why are these fuckers, same van, circumventing the same 5-mile radius? There's something up to this. Let's go get it.
This got drug deal written all over it.
Exactly.
Right? It has drug deal now. I know you like we say, allegedly, or at least allegedly from us, because this is our opinion. But this has drug deal written all over. There is no way. First off, like you said, you get into the city. Now you're just driving around. Now you found a mile away from where you're supposed to be going, over 2 hours after you were supposed to be there. And you driving around in circles. Then you get picked up by the cartel. The cartel, I think, shot their car up first, then put their ass in their own van, and then later on let them go. This has to be, in order for you to drive from South Carolina with 4 people to Mexico, it got to be drug related. It 100% have to be drug related. Now, maybe the American media, our media, is not going to put that out there like that because we're trying to save face.
Exactly.
And maybe, I'm guessing, the cartels don't actually know that they were there for that, right? They were probably there to see some low-level guys that had nothing to do with them. So they probably truly don't know that they was there for drugs, and these 5 cartel people saw them.
Yeah.
It was suspicious, followed their ass, picked their ass up after shooting at them, and then realized, oh, crap, these are Americans. We don't want no issues with America. Let's release the 2 that we at least kept alive, right? I think that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, because another article that I read, I don't know the publication, they mistook them of Haitian gangsters or drug dealers. So that's a mistaken identity. That's exactly what happened. But regardless of the case, this was a quick come up. It was supposed to be a quick come up, allegedly, and this went wrong.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Because for them to be doing that, it's no, you going for. I mean, because you could think from the beginning.
Because you're swimming around the fucking doctor's clinic for 3.5 hours.
Yeah.
The doctor's clinic is right there. Just go.
Yeah.
If you were completely innocent and you want nothing to do, none of this shit, you could have just gone, into the doctor's clinic because you apparently found the doctor's clinic. You weren't lost.
Yeah, exactly.
You drove right past it.
Yep.
And you could have gone, handled your business, and you would have been out of there.
You'd have been gone. And that's what I was going to say. If you could say as an argument, maybe they got lost. Maybe they were looking for the spot. Maybe, obviously it's Mexico, so they don't really either can read or speak, very well Spanish. Maybe they do. I'm just throwing this out there. But, you can say maybe they got lost. But their actions based on that GPS report from CNN just shows otherwise. It looked like they were looking for someone specifically.
Yeah.
And either that person bagged out or wasn't there, or they just couldn't find that person at that time. And it looks like they're using this tummy tuck doctor operation as an alibi.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%. Because based on what CNN has said, they were using navigation. They have the data on the phones, right? They'll know exactly where the car was going.
Yeah, exactly.
And they figured out, hey, these guys drove by the clinic several times.
Yep.
Several times they drove right past the clinic.
Yep.
So apparently you were never going to the clinic.
No.
You were looking for somebody else.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty a well-known area. Hey, I'll meet you over there.
Yeah.
Around there.
Exactly.
And they couldn't.
Nope.
And they were too probably scared to get out of the van and look for the guy.
Yep.
And, or the guy probably switched up like, fuck him, I don't want to go over there. Something came up. I don't know. Yeah. Drug dealers are not on time. These guys are not punctual.
Clearly. Yeah. And then at what point, let's say they did get lost. Let's say they was down there for a tummy tuck.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't find the place, confused, discombobulated. Let's say that. At what point, if that's true, does common sense kick in and say, maybe I shouldn't be driving around randomly in Mexico. You know what I mean? Like, just maybe if I'm lost, if I'm legit lost, right? Maybe I either need to stop and ask, or maybe stop and reevaluate what I'm doing. But I probably shouldn't just be randomly driving around trying to find a doctor's office
in remote locations.
In Mexico. Maybe this trip just ain't gonna be what I thought it was, because I need to make my way back to America, because I could be driving somewhere dangerously, putting my life at risk, or the lives of the ones that I'm with at risk, right? Mm-hmm. So at what point does common sense kick in if you are lost? I mean, common sense was already gone when they decided, if it is true, to go down there for a tummy tuck and drive, right?
Yeah.
So that was already gone. But, I mean, when do common sense catch back up to you and say, hey, you left me back in South Carolina. How about you not drive around randomly, because you could be going.
And the family back home knew exactly that these people were disappeared, because they knew that they were going to get the shit and come right back up.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? As soon as they got the thing, cross the border, you get a call, yo, I'm through, I'm coming home.
Yeah. And
so they probably gave them, yo, if you don't fucking make it back within, I don't know, 2 days, 3 days, go to the authorities.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The whole thing was already like scheduled. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if you are going to get a tummy tuck surgery, you know, that takes a lot of recovery time.
Oh, yeah.
You can't just get the surgery and the clinic's going to let you leave. Your ass is staying there for a week. They have to monitor you. They have to make sure the sutures aren't coming off.
Yep.
You aren't bleeding. And first of all, you're hooked, because you can't actually just get up and move your core around, because the sutures will come out and you will start bleeding.
Exactly.
And I don't even think you can eat solid foods. I think you were given like liquid IVs for a certain amount of time until this recovers enough that you can start, moving around and doing whatever the fuck. So absolutely not. No. This bitch was not gonna come back in a fucking Chrysler, which is what they took, or a Toyota Sienna, whatever the fuck they were driving. Your ass ain't taking a fucking 14-hour drive.
Nah.
When your stomach is all stitched up. Get the fuck out of here.
No way. They would have flew in and flew out. They were doing something illegal. And sounds like they were trying to pick up something.
They're Jehovah's Witnesses, yeah. They're converting the Catholics to Jehovah.
They spread the gospel. That's funny.
Yeah, that shit ain't happening.
Nah, man, that's enough. So that's a developing story that I'm interested in to see. Really, the end of this story, right? I'm interested to see after they investigate fully, because I think you said the Mexican
Attorney General for the entire country, they said there's going to be some deep investigation into this, because the Republicans are being all hawkish, like, oh, we got to declare the cartels as fucking terrorist organization. Motherfucker, where your bitch ass was when they were smuggling fentanyl in this country and killing all these people.
Exactly.
Shut the fuck up.
Exactly. But here's
you give a shit about them.
But hey, on the flip side though, I kind of got to tip my hat to them, because they turned in those 5 guys who they said went rogue. See, that is a gangster organization.
Yeah, they got power structure, they got hierarchy, they got command formation. Yes.
So, John Morant, if you ever listen, if you're trying to follow suit of how to be a legit thug and gangster, that's how you do it, right? Because they captured those 5 guys.
Yeah, you're not fighting 17-year-olds on a basketball court.
Exactly. They captured those 5 guys, tied their ass up, left a note and covered their face, left a note, and I think they left them outside of the curb of the Mexican police department and said, yo, these guys were rogue. They went on their own, flourishing? I think that's what it is. They went on their own flourishing, and they decided to attack, that American car.
Exactly.
Without our orders, without our instruction, and without us doing it. So, to say sorry, because they did say sorry and apologize, to say sorry, here are these idiots, prosecute them to the fullest extent of the law. We have no association with them and what they did, and they apologized for the deaths. Now, I mean, they still a criminal organization, right? That's responsible for drugs and murders and massacres, right?
Exactly.
So, they not angelic. But for this action and for that act, I kind of tip my hat to them because one, they showing they don't want to have nothing to do with the Americans for business wise, because we cause them issues when it comes to them operating a business in Mexico. But on the flip side, other organizations wouldn't do that. You know what I mean? Like you could tell that
you can't see you can't see MS-13 or the Latin Kings or the Bloods and Crips, writing a letter.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I don't think anybody can read and write.
Exactly.
So
just graffiti. That's it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, some shirtless photos in a barbecue. Yeah. And so I mean, I think in a week or so everybody will know once the news pushes out or whatever. Yep. These motherfuckers waiting for it to come up.
Yep.
Moving into a more exciting topic, on Thursday, Silicon Valley Bank went under.
Every time you say that, it's terrible news.
Yeah, so I mean, this couldn't have happened to a more perfect place. You know what I'm saying? Or a perfect bank in general, because Silicon Valley is complete horseshit bullshit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Dog walking startups. You can sit and order. Delivery. That's another 500 delivery apps that we have. Yeah. That's all the innovation we can come up with as people. So these dumb fucks had about $200 billion worth of assets under management, right? So Silicon Valley Bank is a bank out of Silicon Valley, California, specifically targeting a very niche market, startups and growth companies. So what they did is they took, I think, a big chunk of their assets, their depositors' money, and they pushed it into U.S. Treasuries, long-term U.S. Treasuries at low interest bearing.
And which bank was this again?
Silicon Valley.
Well, that's the name of the bank.
That's the name of the bank, Silicon Valley Bank. I think the bonds were about a 1.5% yield or whatever. Yeah. These fuckers I guess the risk management team was completely asleep. They had no idea that, yes, interest rates are so low right now and the economy is booming, but it might not be that way. So let's figure out a hedging strategy. Yeah. If something happens, how do we counter that? Yeah. So, and the person that was ahead of the risk management team was pushing SJW bullshit. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, my pronouns are this or whatever, equity, diversity type. Whenever you hear a bit say that, you got to leave. The company's going to go up.
You crazy.
So, so they're fucked now. I mean, now the interest rate's at 5%. Yep. And in less than a year. So those bonds are fucking worthless now. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? So they were trying to liquidate those bonds to cover their short-term liabilities. Yeah. And when the words came up, people were like, oh, fuck, they don't have the money. People took a run on the bank. The WEN is now in receivership under FDIC. It will open on Monday. And I think only 3% of the depositors had insured deposits.
3%?
Yeah, only $3 billion. The rest are uninsured, so we have no fucking idea. You might just get your $250,000, and that's a wrap.
Wait. So let's back up. Let me ask this. So initially, you said this bank didn't initially do loans? Is that what you said?
They're in the business for startups. They're not a Bank of America that you can go and get a mortgage at. You know what I mean? You have to be a startup. Yeah. Their whole focus is just to serve this market.
Yeah. So if I was a startup, I'm trying to go over the steps from the beginning. If I was a startup company and I needed a loan, I would go to this bank, get a loan, right? So I'm trying to tie in. I guess I'm trying to understand how are these companies losing money if the money that they have is from the loans that was given from the bank?
No, so these are startup companies, right? They got money from venture capitalists or other investment processes. Yeah. So they opened accounts at Silicon Valley Bank. Right? They deposit money into the accounts, right, and then use that to operate their business.
Gotcha.
But this business is this bank is not in the business of handing out loans to like regular people.
Gotcha.
They're in the business of working with startups. So majority of their shit was just getting large chunk of deposits.
Yeah.
But banks, by its nature, want to make yield. They just don't want the money to sit there. They want to do something so the bank can make money. And how do you do that? You give out loans on interest, mortgages, bank, credit cards, but they're not doing that. That's not what their forte is.
Right.
So they instead say, you know what, instead of this money just sitting here, and most of these people don't really come and ask for the money anyways. They're just using it for day-to-day operations. We'll keep enough for day-to-day operations, but we'll take most of it and put it into U.S. Treasury bonds.
So they was using companies' money.
No, the depositors' money.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The companies. The businesses.
Yeah, the depositors, yeah.
Yeah, they was using the depositors' money to then invest.
They bought long-term U.S. Treasury bonds that were low interest bearing, because when the economy is high, the yield, the interest that the government pays on the bonds is low, and the bond price is high.
Mm-hmm.
Because at that time you just want to secure your money, because the economy is good, the money's it's safe, and it's gonna go up.
Yeah.
But in bad times, bond yields go up because the government say, hey, come, give us a loan and we'll give you higher interest, and it's cheaper to get it.
Yep.
So that's what's happening right now. So if people know that they can get like 5% on a 2-year or a 5 or 10-year bond, why the fuck are they keeping their money at a 1.25%, which is nothing?
Exactly.
So that those bonds are now worthless. Not worthless, but like they're not as attractive. They're not an attractive asset. So they have to sell in order to cover their positions.
So the bank has lost all of that money.
They're fucked. They're done. It's over. The Federal Reserve has the FDIC, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, which covers up to $250,000 of deposits. They have taken over the bank.
So what effect does that have, I guess, on the rest of banks? And is it just California?
No. These banks are all interrelated, right? They're all giving each other money. They're all like borrowing from each other.
Yeah.
They're all linked.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen is hopefully there's not a bank contagion, meaning like a domino effect. One goes, the next. So this is a small regional bank. This was the 16th largest bank in the country.
16th?
Yeah. This was the 16th largest bank in the country, and it was also rated number 1 bank by Forbes magazine, I think last year or the year before.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. I didn't know that until I started doing the research. So a lot of these regional banks and small banks and credit unions, they're going to go fucked.
Yeah.
Because what these fuckers did, I think in 2008, these large banks, once the crisis, passed, is that these large banks say, hey, if we don't want to hold on to these bullshit fucking treasuries at low interest, let's start offloading them to smaller banks.
Yeah.
And then we can free up our balance sheets and start, doing other shit with it.
Yep.
So these smaller banks are fucked now.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think like what we were talking about earlier, this economy is nothing but a casino.
Yeah, it's all made up. It's all bullshit.
Yep.
And there are $22 trillion in deposits in all of the banks in the country, and the insurance company, which is the FDIC, only has $125 billion.
What?
So they can only cover 1.5% of all the deposits. They don't have enough. Even if you have $1 trillion in a bank run, they're fucked.
Wow.
And the Federal Reserve says, yes, you can get your $250,000 back, but it may take up to 99 years for them to pay you back. It's not like, oh, you lost the money, your bank had a bank run, here's $250,000.
Yeah.
That's up if you had that much.
Yeah.
They cover up to that much. So if you had more, let's say if you had $1 million, that's $750,000. That's gone. So you get up to $250,000, but you don't know how long you have to wait to get it, and because you ain't the only one.
And this just rings and reeks of the bailout for the auto industry.
Yeah, and the banks, and Morgan Stanley, and Bear Stearns.
Yep.
All those fuckers that they were gambling that went belly up.
Yeah,
it's the same thing. This is a much bigger. What you're about to witness is 2008 times 10.
And the sad thing about it is there will be no repercussions.
Nah.
No repercussions.
Ain't nobody going to jail for this. Fuck.
Nah, there will be no legal actions or no legal justice in the end for this, and that's the sad thing. But I think this is even bigger, right? Because, I think during the auto industry, if we didn't bail them out, a lot of people would have lost their jobs, right? Or a lot of people would have been out of jobs. Yeah. That is financially related to the economy, obviously. But now you're talking about real, like, relatable money, right? If I'm out of all my money, that is a problem.
Yeah, right? You can't do shit.
Exactly.
People just don't have cash at home. Nobody uses cash like that.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You pay everything with my card. I haven't carried cash in more than 5 years. I pay everything with my debit card or credit card.
Yep.
So I can't get gas. I can't get food. I can't get medicine. I can't pay my mortgage. I can't pay nothing.
And you're right. Yeah, that is a huge effect on the economy. So what do you think? So from this, I think you said Monday something was
tomorrow
happening.
When the market's open, you're gonna see a fuck fest. You're gonna see a lot of bank. Hopefully, I'm praying to God there is no bank run. That they have been trying to fear porn. Sorry, not porn, like fear porn. And saying, tomorrow go to the bank and get your money and do this and do that. Don't do nothing. Don't listen to these people. Don't fucking follow the crowd. Just if people stay calm, there won't be a bank run. People won't go ape shit, and things will get settled out. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? This is still a manageable situation. It's only $200 billion. So the Treasury Department can manage this with other big banks. They can buy this bank pennies on the dollar.
So what do you think is happening to just the everyday, I guess, banker of Silicon Valley? Like, not the small businesses or companies. Just if I had an account open with this bank and I had $50,000 in it just to use, as a, I guess, normal transaction bank, are they affected as well?
I think every single person, every single depositor of this bank is affected because right now your funds are frozen.
Oh, so they frozen funds already?
Yeah. You cannot log into your account. You cannot if you had a Silicon Valley Bank member or depositor, you cannot log into your account and see anything. They've shut the fucking thing down.
What? Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's how they stopped the bank run. Everybody was going into their accounts and trying to transfer money. They were like, we don't have the money. What are you going to transfer? They shut it down. And they shut off all the doors to the real banks. This is how a bank run is, right? So you can see videos on Twitter, people standing in line trying to get their money. You ain't got no money, homie.
That's crazy.
So, but tomorrow we're going to see a clusterfuck. If this thing is not managed and billionaires and venture capitalists are begging for bailouts or whatever, there should be no bailouts.
That's sad, man, because I can't even imagine if that happened to me. I mean, well, one, let me go back. We're not too far from that happening to us. You know what I mean? But for one, I can't even imagine going down to zero in my bank account due to really bank malpractice. You know what I mean? This is banking malpractice, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine being frozen out of my account and not having access, to take care of myself and my kids and to do what I need to do just randomly one day, right? I'm just going to the grocery store. My bank card is denied. And then, you go through the transactions of trying to figure out why you check your account and then figuring this shit out. And now, not only is it me, but it's thousands of other people. And now it's almost like, it's a crisis. Yeah. I can't even imagine that, bro. Like, I would lose, bro. I got to fight somebody. We got to throw hands with somebody.
If something like this were to happen, let's say a bigger bank, let's say Ally Bank.
Yeah.
Ally Bank, it's not a top 4, but a top 10 bank, right?
For sure. Yeah.
It has enough people that if shit blew up on them, you will see fucking riots.
Yeah, for sure.
If people cannot access their money, and most people in this country live paycheck to paycheck already.
Yeah.
So if you can't get your money for whatever reason, there will be bullets flying.
Oh, for sure. 100%.
So hopefully everything, chills out. They can figure this out. Maybe a bigger bank will come in and swallow them up.
Hopefully. But does a bigger bank...
They pay you pennies on the dollar, basically. Let's say for every dollar, they pay you like 20 cents or 10 cents. So if you had like $10 million, you may just get $1 million back.
Damn.
But that's what happens.
That's wild.
You get something back, at least.
It has to be, I know it's not going to be in the end, but who would be held responsible for this?
It has to be the board of directors, right? The CEO, the C-suite people, they're the ones who make the decisions of how to manage the bank.
Yeah.
And the CEO of this bank, I forgot the fucker's name, but he actually he was one of the board of directors of the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco.
Okay.
And he did stupid shit like this. It's going to be a circle jerk. In a couple of years, he'll have another job. I mean, these people are multimillionaires. They don't need fucking income, right?
It's like the bailout. It's like the auto industry bailout. We never heard anything after that. And nobody was ever held accountable for it.
Yeah, but this may, right now, they have a chance, pick between the economy or the banking sector. I think the banking sector is going to go better. It's going to get, tomorrow, you're going to see a huge sell-off in the market.
Yeah.
You may even see circuit breakers come in.
Yeah.
And so let's see.
Wow. That's crazy.
Hopefully, whatever happens, the fucking housing market goes belly up so I can buy a house. Because I'm tired of fucking losing.
Hey, this guy been trying to buy a house for the longest, man. Hey, I've been in it with you, man.
I'm not going to overpay.
I'm hoping you find something, man. But this market out here is insane, bro.
Yep. Any final words?
Hey, this is just going to wrap it up for this week. We do got a guest coming on.
Josh Petty.
Yeah, you got him.
Yeah, he's a former professional skateboarder, rollerblader, one of those bullshit things. But please like and subscribe. Yeah, and hit the bell button. And share with all the social media avenues and hit the bell icon.
Yep.
We're gonna get more people. We're gonna actually start to get more and more guests on now.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you want to say?
That's it. That's a wrap. We'll see y'all again next week.
All right. Peace.
Yep.